Welcome back. It's Monday. Thanks for the likes and the comment so far today on the previous one, and thank you so much for the likes and comments on the one before that, which was get that word out in a minute, scissor lift. So yeah, where are we? Right, well, apart from the fact that the dog is slowly recovering, in case anyone's wondering, still has a really bad limp, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was. We've got him on painkillers at the moment. The checks that they did on him, no signs of broken limbs or anything like that. I don't know how he done it, I ain't got a clue. But he keeps digging holes, and I'm wondering if he's forgotten where there was a hole and he stood in it when he was, because he go a little bit mad around the garden, you've seen that. I've got some responsibilities coming ahead of me, and that is to have a damn good clear up. So I'm going to get onto that at some point soon while he's still healing. Vet's told me he's not allowed out that often, and he needs to rest that foot, which is what he's doing. And I noticed today that he's not limping as half as bad as he was 2 days ago. So yes, he is slowly recovering, thank Christ. Still can't get lots of progress, and we've got more progress. I've just finished this one off. Instead of putting a block in, to make sure it stayed square, I actually cut a piece of wood out and I put that on, and when that goes on the vehicle there'll be another piece of wood glued onto that one and screwed in. Only problem is when I did it, I forgot to put the top angled wood braces for the cover, and I'd already made and glued and screwed the end plate in. So as you can see, there is a gap, and that has annoyed me slightly, but you know, not a lot I can do about it. So what I will do is put a piece of wood in there at a later date. I ain't doing it today, and when I glue the wood on, that'll hide that gap up anyway. I will probably have to cut into this on that side, actually thinking about it. Actually, you are going to see it because that's on the outside, so I may have to take that off and redo the damn thing again. Okay, back in a little while. Week 2. I have now finally finished this, and I had to put a little piece in there because I made a mistake. Not that I'm trying to, well, I don't know what I'm trying to do. Well, I'm trying to build something that ain't going so well. Oh, who gives a shit anyway? It's there. This will get a cover over it. You're not going to see it. Not now anyway. So there's an element. Oh, flipping hell. My lips are not working today. There is a aluminium, yeah, anyway, there's a cover plate to go over here at some point. This will all get covered in glass fibre, all of this, so this has all got to be sanded back. There's a dip there somewhere, I just felt it. No, I can't. Anyway, so what I'll probably end up doing is glassing this area up first. Right, this one, we've just got to put an end cap. Then we need to measure both of them, and whichever one is longer, I've got to trim them accordingly. Easier said than done. Okay, polystyrene time. So I cut a piece out, duct taped, because the foil won't stick to that very well, but the duct tape does. But I cannot put duct tape and glass fibre together because that won't work. So what I'll do next is I'll nip in the shed and get my foil tape, which is an absolute nightmare to pull off the reel, and I'll go over the top of that with foil. And then when I'm ready to start glass fibring up, I'll start laying all of this bit up, and then I'll run some glass resin over the top of that, and then let that dry off. Push in that panel. Actually, I might do both sides, thinking about it, that way I can continue without faffing about too much. Push that in, and then we can turn this over that way and attempt to put some resin in that area, because this area here is where water is more than likely going to collect under that gap, so we do need to go across that area and bring it out to that edge there as best as possible. I have been debating whether to get a piece of copper pipe and flare the end over and drill through that angle or through the back or something, just so we do have some kind of drainage going on, because if I can't get a piece of rubber over that ram, and it ain't looking like I can, then I do need to try and waterproof this as best as I possibly can. There you go, gaffer taped, foil wrapped. I cut a slit out because there's a coach bolt to go in through there. I've got various tools that will allow me to do this, so we can use a wobble bar, extensions and an electric ratchet. We'll drill a hole here to go straight through so the thing is loose. We'll get some washers over the end as well, spread the load, so that should work. We'll just glass that in and over, and that should seal it. My only worry is I absolutely need to be honest with myself, and I need to get those walls sealed in. I've just put a load of silt bang down with that water, and yeah, we've got problems in here. It's not the plastic leaking anymore. I've managed to resolve that, but it's just coming in through the gaps. It's running down the outside. So originally I was planning to remove all of this just in case I had to make some alterations, so I think those alterations will have to be done now. Well, Diesel, what do you make of that then? Hey? Huh? What do you make of that? It's a nuisance, isn't it? Like you don't give a shit. What a beautiful day. Clear skies. It's been rain all week. Right. This morning I pulled this off because it's bent. Really badly bent. So bad that there is no way I can set those pieces on until I had it at least halfway straight. However, what I did is I cut, because this is the strength line here. That angle there is what acts as a girder, and I had to cut in with a grinder and then grind back and refill with fiberglass on both ends. And I thought, well, it's now got to be repainted, so it's getting expensive. Why not just sand all of the garbage off? And that's what I've done, and that will get repainted at a later date. What I need to do, here's how this is all going to work out. That's going to go back on. The rest of the panels are going to get glued down. This one is not. They will then get put on and bolted on, temporary, and then I'll build the front piece, the back piece and the middle section, and then I'll put my plywood in, and at some point we'll get the polyurethane insulation board under the bed, and then we'll unbolt that and we'll turn it all over and we'll glass fibre that all up, ready to go back on. In the meanwhile, we'll then get some more paint and we'll paint that up, and then we'll paint the next two pieces up, and then we'll get the roof done. Well, we seem to have squared it off a bit better now. I haven't glued that down because of the state of it. It needs repainting. When I get the paint on, I will re-glue that, but the first wall panel is now in. Well, in fully in. I ran out of power in my thing jig, so I couldn't do that one up, but the big fat washers didn't work out in the end. I couldn't get enough grip. They're temporary screws. I'll probably get longer at a later date when I glue them down for real. So yeah, okay, 3 days in, rain. It's all we've had. I heavily hindered everything. That and the fact that the dog went lame about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Now he has made tremendous progress. As you can probably hear in the background, he's no longer on painkillers. He's still got a little limp, but he will recover. And I'm happy to say that. So, oh, look at this. Even with a plastic sheet on, I can't keep the bloody water out. Oh, will it please stop raining so I can get a roof on? Anyway, I've cut the piece of wood that's going to go across that brace there, so it goes on top. The reason why I now know, I back-checked my videos because I wasn't sure what I'd done. I'd forgotten. The reason I've done that is so I can put a metal plate behind, alley plate behind, and seal it because of its location. Water could get potentially under. I'm going to sand down that paint possibly. No, actually, sod it. I'll put some sealant. I'll glue the corners in, and that's the other thing. I've added these. That hasn't been glued to this one, but it has been glued to that one. They go down. They're just supports. I've got to get some angle iron, made up over here because I want to put temporarily a piece of angle iron from there all the way up, so I can pull that straight and pull that one straight. So when I do the bit across, it will be perfect. And I also want to do the same over here as well, and pull them and pull that one, which I did with the wood, but the wood isn't doing a very good job. It's holding it up, but it isn't doing much more than that, unfortunately. Okay, we've had a reasonably good day. Still cloudy, but everything is going wrong today, though. That's the only problem with the equipment. Anyway, I've glued that on. I didn't quite get that to the edge. I was having some trouble with that. Mainly the table saw. The dust extraction thing is all clogged up, and I couldn't get the blade low enough, so I couldn't cut stuff the way I wanted. And I got one in. Eventually that will get cut at an angle as well, so as when I glass this piece up which goes across, I can just bring it round and under and join it all up neat and tidily is the plan. So we've got a lip here, which will allow me to glass up under neatly. That's ready once it's got glass on to seal with aluminium, which will all get painted black, all of it. And yeah, so a piece of ply will sit on top of this edge here all the way along, and then what I will do is I'll run a batten across from here all the way across to there, and then there will be a second batten along here, and then there'll be loads of individual battens running across that will rest onto this piece here. And then I'll put my stuffing in, and then I'll put a thicker piece of ply on top. I was going to put a lid to hide clothing and whatnot, but because I went and cut these in, that's not going to be possible because I'm not going to get a thick enough area to lay up. So no, now I'm just going to have to go for a 1 inch thick piece of insulation, and yeah, it's probably going to be polystyrene because it's cheap. Bearing in mind I like to sleep on top of foam mattresses, and I like to put a sleeping bag down and quilt over the top, so we'll probably lay a quilt underneath, a feather quilt with another feather quilt on top for winter use and summertime. Okay, today's progress has been quite vast. Even with a broken saw, one of my Evolution saws is busted. I'm waiting for customer services to get back to me so I can send it back to them and get it fixed. Anyway, that panel is in. I've just got to belt sand all of this down now to get it all level. And then I'm going to put polystyrene in here. I didn't think this through properly because that is an area that's going to be uninsulated along with a lid as well. The drop down wall will be here on the inside edge. There's nowhere else to put it because we've got the struts, as you know, and had I done struts on the inside going straight up, I'd had nowhere to fold, so that wouldn't have worked anyway, unless I went for material sides, which I don't want. So unfortunately this piece sticking out is the product of those rams because there was nowhere to put them, absolutely nowhere. I didn't make the walls thick enough down below to be able to hide them in the walls. Didn't think that through properly, but if I ever built another one excuse me, if I ever built another one, I would make the walls wider in order to hide the ram inside. And tonight we'll go to B&Q and we'll get the polystyrene for this and the piece of wood to go over the top, which is going to be 3.5mm, and it's very flimsy. There's two things I can do to strengthen that, is I can run battens underneath and then glass over the top of them, and that will stiffen that up no end, or, and this is the one I'm favouring at the moment, running some battens across here at that height and having a separate floor that lifts up. I'm very keen on that idea actually, so that's probably what I'm going to do before the walls go in, or even if the walls do go in, I can still get it in through the roof. So something for later on, really. And then that will strengthen that whole area up. Storage, we can put our cans of food in this area here, and then we can have all our bedding and clothing stuffed up over that area over there, not an issue. And then we'll put a couple of nets over these bits, actually over this one whole bit, and we'll leave those alone because there's not a lot we can do about that now. But the time I've made that panel lift, you know, raise the bed, we won't be able to get much in there. So what I might do is block it off here and just stuff it with polystyrene, and then put a couple of panels of wood over the holes and leave it at that, really. Okay, the bed is made. Didn't quite get it big enough, and the epoxy wood split when I dropped it, but you know, all in all, that's on. A little bit of an overlap, which I expected to get, so I might actually put a bit of trim along here and cover that whole of that area, slide it over, providing I don't break that in between, because that's something I'm going to do later on for the interior, and I might actually do the same along here like I did here, all the way around. 1, to tidy it up, 2, to add a bit more strength. I've laid on it, I just about fit, and when I say just about, my head is touching, my feet are touching, but I'm there. So that's cool, that's good. I said to the wife, if it becomes a problem, I'll have to build an extension on here that can slide out, and we'll just have to, you know, lay widthways. Hopefully I've got the camera correct. Stuffing is in, and we've got the last board. Who is it?
Mark.
Oh, hell. Not allowed.
Which is that one? Yeah.
Ah, shit. Hello. What's up?
Oh, yeah.
I can't hear you.
Hang on.
I can't hear you. Mark, can I call you back? Because I've got glue dripping all over the place at the moment.
No problem.
Okay, I'll ring you back in 2 minutes.
Bye-bye.
Now what do I do?
Done.
Put that in.
Right, there you go. That is the frontage built. Now, glue will dry off. Sander will go back over it again. We're going to round everything off. Round it here, round it everywhere. For the simple reason, glass fibre has got to go over it. I'm even debating under this ledge here, as there's nothing to go on that, to put in an angled piece of wood just so as I can flow everything round up as far as that point here, because there'd be a piece of trim go along there, and then there was supposed to be one go along here, but I've now got to cut into that with a saw at a later date, because this was meant to be further in than that. So it will be a boo-boo, but yeah, it's there. The screws are very untidy, but it don't matter, because most of those are going to come out anyway and be reused, because once I've sanded it all down, then it's just a question of putting the glass fibre over the top, so it's a waste of time, because that glass fibre, it's got to come all the way up top here as well as being underneath here. The whole thing will be encapsulated and sealed from the elements. That is the plan. Even that edge here will be sanded eventually. I'll probably we'll use a router over that just so as I can get a good edge all the way around, because I think that's going to be the easiest way. Now, I did say I was going to put some braces in there. I can't do it because it suddenly dawned on me the roof's got to come down, or the walls have got to come down, and they're going to be fixed to pieces of batting up here that'll be cut at an angle to stop the rain from getting inside. And the problem with that is the two front and rears, the hinge points, instead of being in line there, they're going to be way down here, so they will sit down lower. And unfortunately, that framework at this point in time is going to be in the way. Until I get those sides built, I can't actually do any more to that bed space. That has completely hindered me. So what have we got left, apart from ringing my friend back? I've got this bit to do now. I have some wood, I just don't have a lot of wood. I'm not sure I've got enough to do what needs to be done, and the way I'm going to do it as well is making me nervous just thinking about it, because I've got to run a batten across, battens up, and then another one going across, and somehow this has got to be lifted level. And guess what I don't want to do is move. It's solid. So it's an issue, possibly. And this one's gone too high, this one needs to come down. So I've got to take those out and replace them. And as you can see, that one ain't sitting flush, that's shifted. And that's really shifted. Yeah, so I've got a lot of ratcheting to do to bring everything where it needs to be. The back is going to be a bloody nightmare. I am not looking forward to it. Right, let's ring my buddy back. Okay guys, I just had a look online just to see how bad this hurricane has been in America. I think we've got the tail end of it coming over here. So what I've done is I've buttoned everything up as best as I can, and I've also added some of that crap underneath to hopefully get the water to run off, because we do not want water inside. I am having a hell of a problem with water at the moment. So like here, you can see what I've done. It's not great, but it might work. I think what I'm going to do, if I don't get nicked at any point, is I might make up a frame out of the old scrap wood and screw them all up so I can throw this on top before the roof gets completed. So I can't really do much about that bit, and I can't do much about the back. And if the water does bag up, it bags up. But that hurricane, although it's probably going to be calming down by the time I get here, they usually do, it's still going to produce a few weeks and days of bad weather. See, look, took me damn plastic away, didn't I? I'll have to get some tape. Oh, it's inside there, isn't it? Oh, to hell with it. So that's all I can do for the moment till I look at the weather forecast. I mean, on the assumption that it's like 3 days of bad weather, hasn't been great these last few weeks, then I'm not going to get no more work done. I need to make up some metal props on the other side to pull that back in, and then I can square that off and I can duplicate that end. So I've got that to do. So that's going to be the next project, I suppose, at the back. And then we'll start thinking about the roof, which I'm not looking forward to. I'm not now. So I think we're going to call this video. You kind of seen what's happening, you know where we're going with it. The next video will produce the end cap, and hopefully we can start building a roof of some description. Once the roof has been constructed, because I need everything flat and flush, I will then take everything off, whip it round the back. If we can get a week of good weather and a bit of money in our pocket, we'll get some fiberglass. We've got some, but we ain't got enough to do all of it. And we'll lay everything up in one hit. I've got a massive 1 foot wide paddle roller somewhere. I'll have to find it. Don't know where I put it. I've seen it, but I can't remember where I saw it. and we'll get this all rolled and put it all back out here. And as soon as I get it all out the front again, we'll put the mechanism in place, and then the next video will be the walls going up. Once the walls are gone up and built, paint and whatever's left to do. I may not get any paint on this actually for the rest of the winter, because it gets misty at night, everything condensates and it destroys the paint as it's drying. It's fresh paint and it don't like it. Even if I was to cover it up, it still affects it, and it's just a waste of bloody money. So I think I'll get some paint just to do that wall that I've scratched up and fixed, and then I think the paint that I'll have to stop until the spring. We'll see how we go, but it's looking like we're going to have to do it out the front once this lorry's gone, and we're going to have to do it with a roller. I don't really see many options open to me on that one. It is what it is, isn't it? So that's it for the moment. So the dog is doing well, in case you're wondering, and there's not much more I can say about that. And I'll see you on the next video. So you take care. Bye bye.